working to get my B license right now.
Lord have mercy.
All right, let's begin. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BMT2 Unfiltered, where we come at you with the latest talks, views, and debates, and anything that you want to know here under the black motherfucking YouTube channels. Here we got a hard star-studded panel. All my brothers and sisters. I got Man of Tomorrow. I got Nichelle. I got Lady J, our analyst, and also I got Healthy, my co-host. So I got the whole panel. Nichelle hit me up because she keeps getting put back in Facebook jail like she always do.
Yay.
You know you are.
Well, yeah, statistically speaking, Facebook puts more women in jail than men.
Y'all need to close y'all damn mouth. Maybe Facebook trying to tell you.
Oh boy!
I'm just trying to say, Facebook probably telling y'all get your ass off of Facebook. Maybe y'all won't get put in jail. Shit. Sorry, I'm a black man. I give zero fucks for y'all damn suffrage.
Okay,
Facebook.
I got thrown into Facebook jail because I stated the obvious. I said that there could be a rise in men going towards transvestite.
If you say anything about trans people, or if you say men are trash,
that's
or if you say men are basura, those are automatic bans.
No, I said trans. I didn't know.
Yeah, that too. That's what I'm saying.
Transsexual, transition.
Yeah, that's banned too. That's a ban. That's a ban.
That's a ban.
That's a hot word.
Yeah, that's a ban.
Yep.
Yeah, and I said they were trying to avoid child support. That they could play with the titties and still not get her pregnant.
Just do like Eddie Murphy and just go to Australia. Nobody gonna fuck with you. Just do like Eddie Murphy. Just go to Australia.
Eddie Murphy be fucking with them motherfuckers too, though.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
He was fucking with him before it was even like popular.
That's been with Eddie's DNA. So
he was fucking with them chicks. He was fucking with trans back in the 80s and shit.
Maybe if he got married to a trans, he'd probably be a better man. But the black community, we don't know what the fuck to do with him. I knew there was something wrong with him. He was doing that as a professor. He was too much into those goddamn roles.
Oh my god!
Between him and doggone Tyler Perry, we need to start looking at them motherfuckers. I'm just saying.
Lord,
do not be surprised. Now, let's ask the question: is child support the tool for destroying men and the home? I'm asking that question. Nichelle and me already sparked it. I'm gonna be posting it all over the Facebook. If y'all want to, call your friends, call anybody. If y'all got questions y'all want to ask, come into the chat, ask us the questions. I done been through it. These damn women out here done tried me. They all failed. I keep beating y'all. I'm like motherfucking Thanos. You're never gonna get me. Let's begin.
Okay, let me break some numbers down real quick.
Oh shit.
Median income in the United States. Median income. So I don't want to hear all this. Brothers be paying $10,000 a month. No, you not. You not. Stop it. The average typical Caucasian household in the United States is right at $50,000. The typical child support throughout all 50 states is approximately 20% of your annual salary. So we're sitting up here looking at people. Let's break it down, brothers and sisters. The typical child support, if you median, I'm talking you middle class, you're going to be paying $800 a month. Let's go back on that. Say child support.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about that earlier. Yes.
But if your child is under the age of 3, your daycare bill is going to be $600 a month. And if your child is over the age of 4 and they're in school, I should say 5. You're not economically depressed. You got your child in school at 5. 5 years old, you get kindergarten. If you're economically depressed, you get pre-K. So at 5 years old, a stereotypical child can go to school, but their after-school programs are still $100 a week, which is $400 a month. So, brother, please stop with the whole, oh my God, she is getting me for child support so she can pay her bills. Her bill is your child, is the daycare. The main part of your money is going through. I want someone to sit up there and show me how anybody can have a roof over their head, drive a car, pay insurance, And you sitting up there going, I'm giving her $400 a month, and she using that for her hair. She ain't taking it like this. She using it for her hair. I want you guys to break it down and say, how the hell is she giving your child for?
You've been making it for thousands of years.
You must ain't been to the project.
So we'll pass it on to Healthy. You're a little bit muffled. I'm passing it over to you. Healthy?
I got to get some headphones. Can you hear me?
You're a little bit muffled, man. You're a little bit muffled.
Can you hear me now, brother?
A little bit more clear. Go ahead.
What is the question, man? Like, is it fucking up the community or what?
No, not just the community. I'm asking, is child support the tool for destroying men and the home? Not just, is it destroying men? Or is it destroying the home? Or is it destroying both?
I would say it's destroying both. It's destroying both. But I would have to ask the Minister of Information to quickly Google up what was the original intent of child support? Like what was the original intent? Was it to provide aid to the child? Was it to provide aid to the woman with the child to put you know what I'm saying? Like what was it for? Was it to put the child through school and college and all of these type of things? Was it for the child to have clothes and like what was it for? What was the original intent?
The original intent of child support was exactly what it says. It was to aid in the support, the housing, the clothing, the laundry detergent, the water, the electric bill, the necessities of a child.
Okay.
Minimum amount that a person who was not the custodial parent of the child should contribute towards that child's life.
Does that include birthdays and clothes and shit?
Right. It is supposed to include minimum levels of food, shelter, and clothing.
So if the sister is living, so let's say if there's a sister that's living in the projects and her rent is $25 a month, and she's on food stamps, why is she receiving $600 a month in child support?
Goddamn Healthy.
Let me say it like this. Let me break it down to you. Let me tell you why she is getting $600. Let me tell you why she's getting $600 in child support. Because the typical cost of raising a child is more than $1,200 a month. More than $1,200 a month. So any nigga that's sitting up there saying,
damn fucking mic. Shit.
No, I'm gonna break it down. I don't care if it's black, white, or whatnot. If you sitting up there saying, I don't understand. I want my child to survive on $25 a month. That bitch is getting, she only paying $25 a month in child support in rent. So fuck it. I don't want to contribute a damn thing to what it takes for food, shelter, or clothing over my child. You only paying $600. The government is picking up the other part, and you complaining. I say any nigga that wants to complain and say, why is she only paying $25? I would sit up there and say, guess what, nigga? Your ass need to pay the full $1,000 for her ass to have a place.
Jesus Christ!
How about that shit? She wouldn't be on welfare if your ass was paying.
Okay, Michelle, you done enough right now. Calm down.
I think it'd be better if she just gave the child to the father.
Let's pass it over to M.O.T. M.O.T, are you here, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you hearing all this? Michelle's trying to set the man kingdom on fire.
I'll set y'all on fire. Y'all know that. You'll never destroy. Excuse me. Any brother that sits up there and says, I think it would be better. Who the hell is going to keep the child while your ass is at work, motherfucker? I will break it down to you. I'll break it down to any man.
My mama.
Don't they got jobs? Don't they got jobs?
Now that they on.
Who is paying their bills while they taking care of your child? Who is paying their bills while they taking care of your child?
Listen, that's my child. You can't take care of it. You don't need my child. M.O.T. You heard everything that's going on. Is child support the tool that has been used to destroy men? And is it destroying the home? I need to know from you, brother. Just tell us the truth.
I mean, the problem with child support is it just there is no quality control with it.
Mm.
I understand how there's all these costs and all this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not restricted. It's kind of like EBT. There's restrictions on what you can and what you can't buy. But with child support, you can kind of spend it however you want to. There's no real quality control. So,
can I ask you a question? Because I know the legislation. Cite me the legislation. Cite me the legislation. Because at the end of the day, I hear men talking, and I work in this area. I am a lawyer. I actually sit up there and defend men and women, paternity cases, etc. And I've had so many men sit up there and say, I did not know. Because at the end of the day, when you get in the state of Texas,
know what. Hold up. I did not know what.
They did not know the cost of taking care of a child. That, first of all, in the state of Texas and in most states, because I've looked at it, that when the mother goes in to file, let me break it down to y'all so y'all can understand. First of all, the attorney general is not going to get involved in the case unless and until the mother has disclosed all of her expenses.
Well, she's
all
not.
Of her
she's
expenses
not.
And all of her income.
She's not. She's
not. Yes. First of all, you cannot get the attorney general involved in a case in any state unless the mother shows all of her income and all of her expenses. So for men to sit up there and say, well, I didn't know how much it was costing her to raise my child. You didn't look at the court filings. They're there. Federal law, they must.
Don't know either. She's not on birth control. So when did this all become the man's fault?
Wait a minute. Hold up one more time.
We should just work on and never trust her.
Go back one more time. She's not on birth control. That is the individual discussion that people need to have.
Birth control is free.
And at the end of the day, birth control is only 60% to 80% effective. So even if she was on death,
0% effective if you don't use.
Can I talk?
Yes, Jay. Yes, you can talk. You can talk.
Lord please. Jesus. First and foremost, to answer a few questions here. As far as Nichelle, there's birth controls that are 98% effective, specifically the IUD. That is 98% effective. Secondly, in regards to what is child support? To answer Mario's question, child support is a form of support payment that is often ordered when two parents are no longer living together. It is in the best interest of any child to have financial support from any parents. Child support may be ordered even in instances where parents does not have contact with his or her child unless that parent has legally surrendered parental rights with the permission of both the court and the other child. The intent of child support, to answer your first question, the purpose of child support is to protect the child from the economic impact of divorce or separation. Therefore, child support should be used for both the basic necessities of the child, such as food, shelter, childcare, and education, as well as the additional things that the child enjoyed during the marriage. So that's first. Second, I want to say, fellas, control your motherfucking dick. That's my second point. I've been on birth control for a very long time, but just from the man's point of view, don't believe a bitch when she tells you she is on birth control. Use a rubber. Period, point blank. You use a rubber, that decreases your chances of having a child. Thirdly, if child support is based off of your income, period, point blank, and nothing more, nothing less. If the more money you make, the more child support she is entitled to. That's just how it works. If you have an issue with the amount of money that you are paying for child support, you can fight the court and get full custody of your child, and then you do not have to pay child support. Fourthly, if you don't procreate with bottom dweller bitches, you wouldn't have to worry about paying child support, and you could work it out amongst yourselves.
Yeah, because
as I said one more time,
your phone is muted, Joe.
Child support is the minimum levels.
Still muted.
Minimum. I've represented fathers that actually did. I've had two cases. One where the father realized he had impregnated a ghetto troll, and he took custody of the child, but decided because she had 3 other children that he would continue to pay her some money because he did not want his child living in destitution while that child went to visit him.
Visit her.
Why would he do that?
Because let me say this one more time. He got custody of the child, but he did not want her to live in destitution when she went to go visit the mother. The mother. There was no grounds to terminate the mother's parental rights other than the fact that she was poor. So the court was going to order that every other weekend, the child was going to have to go stay with the mother. And the father felt like, since he was an architect, he could at least afford to give her extra $400 a month.
Okay, that's fine. I can't say
shit. Okay. He was trying to do within the best interest of his child.
Yeah.
That he still had to raise full time with the help of a live-in nanny, which actually cost him $40,000 a year, which he did not want to pay to his ghetto mama of his child, but he did pay to a professional or semi-professional nanny.
That's fine. He made it. That's a smart man. That's a smart man. He made a good investment. Good job to the man.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not down in all men. I've seen men do incredible things because it was in the best interest of their child. But I'm sitting up here listening to Rob Kardashian say he can't afford to pay child support anymore.
Hey. Well, he said he can't afford to pay $12,000 a month in child support. He didn't say he couldn't afford to pay child support. He just said he couldn't afford to pay the amount that he was paying.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. $12,000
a
month. Shit, I was
so like, no, he wants a reduction. He wants a reduction to like $6,000 a month, which that's all. He didn't say he couldn't pay child support though.
Okay, a modification. That's fine. That makes sense.
Now let's pass it on to Nicole. What's going on, Nicole? You here? Nicole, can you hear us? You're on mute.
My time, man.
Okay, so let's get back.
Quickly, go ahead. What is the purpose of the scale? Like, why does it go up and down? Like,
it's income based. It's nothing more, nothing less. Basically, what they do is they take how much the mother made. You do a financial worksheet. When you go to court, you do a financial worksheet. And for the record, I just to let all of y'all motherfuckers know, I don't do the child support thing. Me and my ex-husband work it out amongst ourselves. But I just know this from when we went to court. When you go to court, just, because I know you have the types that will call me a bitter baby mama or shit like that. So I just had to be clear that I don't pay child support. So anyway, basically they do a financial worksheet. You put how much you make a week or month or whatever, what your regular bills are, be it water, electric, heat, all of that shit. You put it down. They basically, there's a figure. They basically say they take a percentage. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They take a percentage that has to equal to 50%.
Yeah.
So it's like they take an average. So they take that number and divide it and has to equal to 50%. So if your 50% is more than her 50%, that's what you pay. Most states have a bare minimum. So the thing is, most states have a bare minimum of usually like it's either $25 or $50 a week, depending on the state. And then it goes up from there.
Right. Let me, I'm going to tell you from right now, because I dealt with one of the worst states, Georgia, which always is in favor of the woman. And when you deal with them, let me tell you a lot of y'all men. First off, let me tell y'all where y'all mess up at. Because y'all don't go to the court. Y'all, brothers, we need to go to the court. Do not leave it up to that judge and that woman.
Can I ask a question, though? I represent men.
Or just don't lay down with those types of women, then you can avoid that situation altogether.
Hold on. We gotta stop right there. Because you don't know what that person is thinking on the other side of the bedroom, Jay. I mean, look at Scottie Pippen's wife. I mean, she has money. She's still trying to get child support. And he took it back. And she stepped out.
Excuse me, Joe. This is my problem. We're not talking about those type of women. We're talking, let's keep middle class. Let's talk about the middle class. Let's talk about the middle class. The majority of people are middle class. Okay.
Who files for more divorces, men or women?
Women actually do.
Okay. So we're going somewhere. Now let's look at it. Now I'm glad we hit on that. Women file for more divorces. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
If a man is investing majority of his time into building up something, now mind you, the woman, he already thinks that, listen, I'm trying to make something work. I'm maybe not the best man, but I make something work. But he gets blindsided with a motherfucking goddamn, mind you, by the time some of y'all men find out that you're getting a divorce, she's already put aside some fucking money. She's already got something built up on you. She knows understand this. Women take their time and they study you. Y'all don't think these women don't study what you eat, what you shit, what you spend your money on? All that is being taken into account.
But Josh, okay, I would advise any woman or man, to think about it long and hard before they file for divorce. So yes, I would expect you to plan for it.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was going to say too. You know, when we sat down and actually he filed for divorce, but we said 9 times out of 10, let's be realistic. Honestly, most people aren't blindsided by a divorce. That is a very small minority. Most people aren't blindsided by divorce. Nine times out of 10, there was some sort of conversation that was had. And then now, not to mention, we're not talking about divorces because a lot of the people that do pay child support weren't married to begin with.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going. So
it goes back to my original point where, like I said, you know, you have men that are dropping their seeds off wherever they see fit. Those types are the ones that usually complain the most about child support.
No.
To be honest,
let's.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preface this so that everyone will understand. This is not a racial issue. The gentleman that came to me for a consultation was not black. He came to me. His daughter was 12 years old, and his words were, "I want to stop paying child support because I am tired of paying for a pussy that I don't get to enjoy." And I was like, excuse me? He said, "I am paying $600 a month to that biatch and I'm tired of paying her when I cannot sleep with her when I want to." I've had men come to me and ask, could they convince the judge that they could get conjugal visits in exchange for child support? That is not the purpose.
Okay,
why not just fight for custody?
Because the issue comes down to, I've had men who come to me, and when they had to figure out that the typical woman that they are not sleeping with, that is not their mother, wants $10 an hour to watch their child, they suddenly went, okay, this child support thing, I can't work and have this kid in my house.
I wouldn't give.
But in reality, 600, and that's the thing what a lot of men fail to realize as well. $600 for a teenager. So for case in point, especially if you have a teenager, $600 a month ain't shit for a teenager. Let's be realistic. A pair of sneakers is $200. A grocery bill for a teenager, just for the teenager to eat, period, point blank, is at least $100 a week. For small kids, we can negotiate that. But man, tomorrow you don't have no kids, so you could really just shut the fuck up. I'm just saying that, like I said, for a teenager, like I said, a pair of sneakers is like $200. And their feet grow.
Now, I got a question. Who are these women out buying these boys these sneakers?
Who? Their fathers buy them, their mothers buy them, whoever. That's what the kids want.
I'm paying child support. I ain't buying you. If I'm giving you $600,
I'm just saying. I'm just using. Okay. But my point is, that's how much shit costs. That's the only point that I was making.
Exactly.
I try to tell you, brother.
That's the only point I was making. That's how much shit costs.
Money, don't give her shit.
Excuse me. If you go look on my page, Arnichelle Foster, you will see that I posted from the Department of Agriculture that a child at 5 years old, is $70 a week worth of food. That does not take into consideration the amount of money that is also spent on electricity, water, and gas to cook and clean up after that.
Does this woman work?
Notice what I said, $70 a week. I'm going to say she paying for the gas to heat up the food. She's paying for the water. She took the time to go to the grocery store. You know, I looked look how much it's $20 an hour to get somebody to go grocery shopping.
Man, get your kids. Get your kids.
Right, and I mean that's a simple solution. It's like if you're complaining about the amount of money that you are paying in child support, there's a simple solution: fight for custody of your kids. Plain and simple.
People are fighting for custody of their kids, but the problem of it is when they fight for custody. I have represented men that fought for custody. That suddenly they are whining because, hold up, I got to pay $600 a month for child care now. Yes, you do.
You can get ABC with Walters. So
what ends up happening with a lot of these men is that they realize that, well, damn, I'm not paying child support anymore, but now they still end up spending more money out of pocket for stuff like food and groceries and clothing, etc.
What kind of men?
This is just going by what I've seen. Like I said, I told you, there ain't no issues over here.
What kind of men?
Go ahead, man. Tomorrow. Go ahead, man. Tomorrow.
I represent.
I want to hear what man tomorrow has to say. I want to hear him.
Thanks for this.
Huh?
If she gets pregnant, you both go to court. If this guy says that he had no intentions on having kids or being married to this woman, 100, and she's not on birth control, 100% of the responsibility falls on the woman. Period.
Why? Why can he not get?
She lied. I get it. She lied.
Unless she lied to him.
That's right.
Unless she lied to him. That at the end of the day.
Okay. Government affidavit of birth control, something that she has to sign every time she meets a new guy. She will have to get it signed and notarized and filed with the court before she has sex with him.
That sounds really fair, actually. That sounds very fair.
I actually like that.
That sounds very fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say this one more time. Birth control, because I also deal with medical malpractice. Birth control, especially for African American women, leads to higher incidence of uterine cancer, breast cancer. IUDs have a higher incidence of fibrosis. So the medical repercussions for women, when a man can get a vasectomy for $800 and it's reversible. Okay. You want to talk to me again? Let me talk to you again. How about this? A man cannot have sex in the United States unless he can prove that he has his card that he's been clipped or either he's married. How about that?
That don't even make sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I told y'all brothers, just leave out the country. Just take your ass out. Y'all don't listen.
I mean, it makes sense that if you do not have a sex card proving that you cannot, that you have taken the appropriate steps for an $800 vasectomy. If you can't afford an $800 vasectomy, maybe you do not need to have sex as a man.
Whoa! What about all these damn women who can't even afford a goddamn a stitching in their damn hair? They don't need no fucking kids. Because I see more kids, I see more women walking around making more babies, and they can barely afford baby number 1. Yet they got 2, 3, and 4.
Hey, now, Josiah. So Rico 1911, Rico, are you a Kappa? But anyway, Rico wants to know, then what's the point with abortion?
I don't know. We probably maybe
it's the man fault. It's the man fault. Everything the man fault.
Honestly, if it was up to me, honestly, if that woman was pregnant, I would say, listen, here's what I'm gonna do. If you want this baby and I don't want this baby, I am going to sign a waiver and give you doggone full custody. And if that's the case, I'm gonna give you the money for the abortion out of my taxes. If you do not take this abortion,
be responsible for is abortion money.
If you do not take this abortion, guess what? You cannot contact me. Do not let me know shit.
Joe, say
you now belong to the state.
Joe, you can sign a waiver of your parental rights regardless of whether or not she has an abortion.
Would I still have to pay?
When the baby is born, you can sit up there and say, I want no rights, responsibilities. I don't want to visit the child. When the child goes to NBA, I ain't going to be no contact.
I didn't ask. I understand. I'm saying, would I still have to pay for 18?
No. If you sign a waiver of rights
If you sign away your parental rights, you don't have to pay.
You will not have to pay.
I don't know why most of y'all niggas ain't signing away y'all parental rights. Ain't like y'all like that little motherfucker.
It isn't.
Right. You know what, Joe? It's fucked up what you said, but you're absolutely right. A lot of they don't like the mother and they don't like the child. So just sign over your parental rights and stop your bitching.
I'll sign that damn paperwork and say fuck you, fuck little Tommy, and fuck everything. Just don't call me.
I have the forms online. You can have a woman sign it. You can buy the forms online.
Whoa. Did you just have a woman sign it?
Yeah, have the woman sign it. You sign it. Have it notarized. Plan to have sex. Plan to have sex.
Oh, she ain't signing that paperwork. She ain't signing that shit. Once you said
he can sign it. He can sign it.
Then leave your dick in your pants then.
Then leave your dick in your pants. The man just has to sign and say, I waive my responsibilities. I waive my rights and my responsibilities.
You think all these dudes paying child support can't fill out a simple form to not go through that shit anymore? Like, this is what you're trying to make it look like.
This is why they won't legalize prostitution.
You have to
then use a rubber. Use a rubber or don't have sex.
You have to do it before the child is born.
Right. Hold. Before the child is born. How many women tell that Negro that I'm pregnant or even know
what I said. Why don't you do it before you have sex? Plan to have sex.
Right. We all keep that paperwork in our desk, in our side, in our side.
Hey, I saw 50 Shades of Grey. The brother had the paperwork.
Mind you, billionaire Bruce.
Have them sign an NDA. Have them sign an NDA. Have them sign a disclosure, a legal form.
All I'm saying is responsible sex. Brother sitting up here. I'm sitting up here
use a rubber.
Out for child support. I say before you have sex, have a copy of a document that you sit up there and say, I'm about to have sex with Moniqua. Moniqua, let's get this on tape. I waive any responsibilities.
Right.
And I waive any rights to this
while
child.
we're drinking, we're going to be thinking about putting shit on tape.
Then use a rubber.
I want you to think about the fact you be creating a life. Yes, I want you to be thinking about that while you drinking. Let's break it down. Yes, you should be thinking about the life you creating while you drinking.
If we looked at how many women have released sex books about how many men they fuck, how many Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, Football
Well, that's
wives.
The problem. That shit's not real life, Joe.
Hold on. It's not real life. Well, hold on. These women, we're gonna make it sound like these women that make come up like Khalees and all these motherfuckers haven't made. We got the Dreams girl and
Khalees had her own money.
The same baby mama. We're not gonna make it sound like these women have not been using their vagina for come up with a baby.
That have to do with the average? I don't care.
No. It does. No, we're not gonna make it. No, we're looking at the board that we're gonna be for real. We're not gonna pretend that some women haven't been using their coochie as the ultimate fucking lightsaber to make come ups. We know that there are simp ass men who are thirsty for pussy and by any means.
But one more time.
Well, then stop having raw sex.
Okay, let me say this one more time. Joe, let me break this down to you. Let me
bring your own condom. Then you won't have that problem.
Okay, you won't have that problem. But the long and short of it is, the number of men in the United States, 6% of the men, 6% of the entire United States population makes over $100,000. So can we please stop this conversation?
I wish to God that caravan of Mexican women would have got across the border.
Hey, Nichelle, LaShawn wants to know how many. It says men are legally still have to pay. I guess he's talking about with termination. He said men still have to pay. How many of her men clients won with her? So he wants to know how many of your male clients won.
With respect to termination, Texas had a wonderful get out of jail free card. I had 5 clients that actually thought they were the father. They did not go in for a paternity test. We went in for a paternity test. The children were over the age. It had been the kids were over 4 years old. They all were relieved of their responsibilities to pay child support.
Pause. Look, wait, hold on. Look. Whoa. Before we pass it on to Nicole, you saying this woman didn't have enough decency to wait and let her body chill out from the goddamn old cum built up in her pussy.
Still the man's
to go
fault.
fuck another nigga.
Still the man's fault.
And think she was pregnant with that. Do you know how many men I hear think that they're the baby daddy and find out a few years later that they ain't the baby daddy and they still stuck on child support?
Again, I can't help the fact that they did not hire a competent attorney that
No. It's not about competent attorney.
Do it.
Because to have
Yeah,
competent
it
attorney,
is.
you gotta have money
Yes,
for
it
that.
is.
So
Oh,
again,
yes. If it
that
is
means
not your child, if it's not your child and you filed it timely, handle your business. Don't
timely.
ignore it.
Sally, that don't matter in Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. You don't care about
You have
that. Oh,
4
wait.
years. You have 4 years in most states when it comes to fraud. 2 in some states. But if you have
You
been
know that would
fraud,
mean? That would mean you would have to
So
know.
is somebody outside?
Yes. Who got that thing going on? They sound like a blow truck or something. Now we're looking at that now. Because normally most men don't find out this type of revelation before we pass it to Nicole. Most men don't find out this type of revelation when A, they need a blood transfusion. Something is wrong in the midst where somebody happens to pull your side and say, yo, I don't think that baby's yours.
the moment she files, the moment that a court document is filed asking you to pay child support.
So the court just knowingly says, hey, that baby's not yours. You need to come over here.
They ask you the moment you file for, someone files for child support. They say, do you acknowledge that this is your child? Yes or no? Or do you want to exercise your right for a DNA?
How many
can you let Nicole speak? Because she's been waiting for a long time.
Nicole, what's going on there? How you doing? Welcome to BMT2 Unfiltered. Go ahead.
Thank you. Interesting subject. Okay, so I'm not for child support, but I'm not against it. What I wonder is, instead of all the
where are you located?
Men, I'm sorry.
No, we like you. You're not for child support.
Oh, okay. Well, because now I understand the problem. It is a problem, and I'm just speaking from my own experience. But if the consequences are harsher or more harsh, I don't know the word. So if the consequences outweigh the problem, now we have two problems. How can a solution be unconstitutional? That's my problem with it. So yes, we need child support, but do we need to throw people in jail and have the amount still accumulate when they're in jail? How is that constitutional? So I can't agree with it because I don't agree with the solution. And but the only problem I have is this: instead of the black men sounding like babies and victimizing the women are not involved in every child support case issue, but men are responsible for 100% of the unwanted pregnancies because we can't have babies without their DNA. So if they want to cry about it, they should tell each other to stop having these babies. I don't agree with what the women are doing, but they can't do it without the man's help. So let's be for real. But they want to shame the women. It's not illegal to be a whore. It's not illegal to scam you. But if you're going to be dumb enough to let her do it, don't blame anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's why
every
woman who I date goes to my gynecologist, so that way we can make sure that she's never having kids while she's under my relationship status.
Yep. But see, I'm not saying that the woman is right. I'm just saying that how unproductive is it to try to shame the woman when you guys aren't saints yourselves? And the bottom line is you are responsible for the pregnancy. A woman cannot have your baby without your help. So
does anybody know? Let me ask a question. How much does a surrogate mother cost in 2018?
How much are we talking about, dog?
It depends
on
the situation.
Wait a minute. Let's bring this out.
Moving, man.
Excuse me. Let's bring this out. Let's just say all the brothers that are like, I want custody of my baby. I don't want her to ever see the kid. That's called a surrogate. How much do you charge? How much do you owe a surrogate for a child in 2018?
Depends on what deal you make out.
A surrogate.
Depends on what deal you make out. Because I was going to get one. Depends on what deal you make out.
Hey, how much is the going rate for a surrogate?
It's all different though.
Around the world.
Yeah, it's all different. It's all different.
On birth control.
It's all different.
You can't make her be on birth control. Why don't you control yourself instead of telling a woman to be on birth control?
Government mandated birth control.
M.O.T, we can only dream that will happen someday. Nowadays, women say
free pussy so bad. Don't do that. That's all we're talking about. I'm sitting up here saying, look, if you want the kid, you could go if you want a child without the involvement of a woman, you could go and hire a surrogate. That would cost you approximately $60,000 to $90,000 a year. No, you don't want that. You don't want to pay her to go through labor and risk her life. You don't want to do that. You don't want to pay $600 a month unless you can micromanage how $600 a month is
on birth control from the outset.
How come men
why should a woman risk her health for birth control to have sex with you? Explain that to me. Are you going to pay for her cancer treatments because of the birth control?
Why am I going to pay for her cancer treatment? Why would I pay for her cancer treatment?
Whoa, yeah.
You put a condition on her having sex with you being on birth control. If the birth control leads to cancer, are you going to pay for that?
Particular form.
Only black men have that argument. Nobody else.
You talking about?
Yeah, because black women are normally the women who stab their men in the back when it comes.
Nobody's stabbing you in the back because they're getting child support. If you know the outcome, I mean, why don't you get your?
How is $600 stabbing you in the back when it's going to take care of your child? Explain this to me.
There doesn't need to be a child.
I got a question. With all these women who are getting out, let's look at the normal.
Let me call you.
For most of these women who are getting.
Wait. Oh wait, are you live?
Yeah.
Oh, let me get back with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So for all these people, for all these women who are getting a child, why is it that we're hearing about children being abused, raped, neglected, dead, postpartum? Now, mind you, they're not with the father. But mind you, the dad only gets so much time with these kids. Like they might get 2 months. But we hear a lot of these kids, where's the father? Why is the boy in the game? Mind you, he's paying the money. And we're still seeing mental and psychological and physical abuse.
Did you wait a minute? Let's qualify this. You said, why is he in the game? And I'm gonna say this one more time. That at the end of the day, these guys that are in gangs that you're hearing about, it's like why daddy paying $600 and she ain't getting him out of the ghetto? He paying $600. She needs to be able to get him out of the ghetto because he paying $600. That means his son, that $600 should be able to move him to a new zip code so he won't be around the gangs. He paying $600. Why is the child being neglected when I just said daycare ends at 6 o'clock every night? And if she has a job, she gets off work at 5. She got to go pick up the kid at 6. So at the end of the day, we're sitting up here saying a lot of women and men have what's called latchkey kids because they cannot afford the $600 a month in daycare. So brothers that are paying $600 a month in child support, you're paying for daycare. Next point. That's why the kids are being neglected, abused. That's why. Because while you out with Shanae doing baby number 4, baby number 2, she trying to get her groove on too. But unlike you, she still has custody of the child. So you ain't putting up any extra money for her to go out and party and try to hopefully meet a nice guy to be a good father for your child. Because there are a hell of a lot of good stepfathers out there. A stepfather. I have never met a stepfather that has not done more for the sustenance of the child than the baby daddy. I've never met a stepfather. Never, ever. What? Because a stepfather, ladies, am I lying? Because the stepfather is the one that's sitting up there making sure that the child gets to school, gets the homework done, gets the bath done. And he is also making sure the lights stay on. He's making sure that the house is warm in the wintertime, cool in the summertime. And if you have a step...
So she needs a man to take care of the household, rather than she just submit to the first man.
No, I didn't say that he was paying all the bills. I said he was.
No, but you said that. But
you are assuming. You are. Excuse me. You are still assuming. Excuse me. I said $600. $600 in child support. The typical mortgage, the typical two-bedroom apartment across the United States is $1,200. So you got a brother that's coming in there paying the $1,200 for the apartment. He paying 50%. Guess what? He paying $600. She paying $600. And your child is living there in that apartment. Let's crunch some numbers. But the electricity bill comes.
You're doing situational assumptions.
No, I'm going on actual numbers that are published around the United States. The average cost of electric bill, the average cost of an apartment, the average cost of water, the average cost of food.
Are we talking about children born in Section 8, middle class housing? Where are we talking about right now?
I said $1,200 a month for the average two-bedroom apartment. I did not say a home. Now, if your child is living in a home, I guarantee you, with property taxes, insurance, and the mortgage, you're going to be laying out $3,000 a month. So your child. So I'm breaking it down for the real numbers for people, because this fantasy of these brothers that are running around going, typical child support in the United States is between $600 to $800 for one child. That's typical. Do not sit up there. The median income in the United States is right there at $50,000, and brothers are well below 50. The average brother is well below 50,000. So I don't want to hear all of this crying about I'm paying more than $600 a month, because every time I ask a brother, show me what you're paying, it's arrearages. I got arrearages on this child. I got arrearages on this child. I got arrearages.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is?
Because
the appropriate amount.
The appropriate amount. I'm gonna ask you this.
If it's the appropriate amount, don't filibuster.
I'm not filibustering. I said 20% of your paycheck. 20% of your paycheck. If you make it for every $5 that you're making, $1 of it goes to your child. You can put a cap on it, but let's say you're making $10 an hour. You're making $10 an hour. $2 of that to feed and clothe your child. I guarantee you, if there's a stepfather in your child's life, he gonna sit up there saying, "Nigga, that ain't shit." Because for every $10 I make, I'm putting at least $8 in this house for this child and for myself and for this woman I'm with. And the child portion of it is more than 20% of his paycheck.
Like, okay, here's the deal. She could just be on birth control and stop herself from being into this entire
She should not fuck your ass. That's what she should do. It should be wait until you get married. Don't fuck this nigga. Wait until you get married and don't fuck. That is the end of the day. If men sit up there and if a man sit up there and said
by not being on birth control and having unprotected.
Oh my God, I'm a poor man. I need a woman. You need to get that up front. You need to sit up there and say, I am a piece of shit man. I'm not ready to have kids with you. I just want to fuck you. Make sure your ass is on birth control pills.
Listen, I told y'all.
Maybe she will fuck you. Say that up front to the bitch.
A dirty prostitute that don't got shit going for her. Fuck her, but don't know her.
If that's all you guys are worth, then go find a prostitute.
You damn right. That's what.
Pay her
$40 in a bag of weed. Make sure, hey, for some of y'all, this is why. Let me tell y'all. Let me tell you a fact.
Yeah,
why do y'all think? Why do y'all think so many dudes, so many guys always think they can go to the ghetto or the black community and fuck with our women and don't ever have no repercussions? I'm just telling y'all. You know why they call black women? They say, well, they get abortions.
If that's what, if busting a nut is so important. That's like sitting up there saying it's so important for me to bust a nut that I'm not going to protect my family jewels. They're not important to me. I'm going to throw them anywhere.
You mean white dudes think the same thing? No, there's a white dude knocked up 3 of his kids and also killed the wife who was pregnant and threw her ass in the goddamn rock quarry.
Well, you won't find a white guy
doing some crazy shit too. Don't just say black dudes do this shit. White dudes
I don't know why you're getting so upset because it's
I'm not. I'm just saying white dudes do it too.
And notice I'm saying men in general. I keep saying men in general. Keep it at the middle class. That at the end of the day, at the end of the freaking day, when it comes to our children, children of Black men and women in the United States, we have enough issues outside of our race. Our men should be leading. Our good men should be leading, not sitting up there saying that we're trying to find a way to get over so we can get some free pussy. That's the conversation. The conversation is more about pussy than about the kids. Have you noticed? Has anybody noticed? Has anybody noticed? I don't hear one man jumping up talking about, I am concerned about the Black child. I want the Black child to be with me because I want to raise this child in.
Oh, you talking about like I just literally said I wish Black men would just go take their kids from these pieces of shit.
But listen to what I'm saying. You're saying you wish Black men would take their kids, but like I said, you're doing it because you're doing it against the Black woman. You're still not doing it in the best interest of the child.
How many times have we seen Black women get their kids fucked up or dead, and then after that, or the best time, some black child goes live with a white family and becomes successful? We can't make it seem like this shit ain't been going on. Barack Obama and all these other motherfuckers. If you guys were
more involved, then it wouldn't happen. But you can't really blame the woman.
Maybe it's because the woman without blaming yourself. Actually, especially when there's a mother and father involved in the house. White men
sounds like they should be married before they have kids.
Birth control.
Birth control.
Actually, condoms, they have a lower rate of HIV as well and venereal diseases. Condoms, my darling. And vasectomy. White men.
You will never hear a white guy say this stuff. I swear to God. You won't. You will never hear a white man talk that way.
What?
You do not hear them.
Sorry.
No.
It's true.
It is
okay.
It is a thing called peace of mind.
My point, because you know that it will just probably make you upset. But what I'm saying is true. You guys are saying, what about this? What about that? It's so irrelevant because none of that stuff is the case. You want a woman to go on a pill, but you don't want to say what you can do different. You just want to point the fingers. You don't want to say the guy's responsible at all. You just say, why can't she use birth control? You know what? There's side effects to medicine. I don't take any kind of medicine at all. And if a guy wanted to wait a minute. If a guy wanted to make that argument and he wants to, I've heard from all of you guys on the panel, men, that, okay, the woman could do this, the woman could do that, but not one of you said what the men could do that's different. Not one. So in other words, you're trying to play the victim. You only want to talk about, but the women doesn't have to take. It's our decision how to take care of our bodies, what's best for us, not you guys. You can't make us have surgery. It goes against everything. Worry about what you can do to change the situation.
Oh, Joe, can you come up with a plan for what men can do? I'm just saying. Let me say it like this. Let me say it like this. Joe, let me ask you a question. Okay. We talk about lack of male fathers in the household. What advice could you give as a man to another male that does not have a father if he wanted to avoid paying child support? Let's put the conversation like that. A real leader. What would you tell a male child to do to keep from getting a woman pregnant or a grown man to do that was your son? You don't want to get this woman pregnant. What does he need to do?
He needs to focus on his job, his work, his resources. He needs to also protect himself sexually. He also needs to gain his access, gain different networks, and actually wait for a woman who's actually worth his time and even looking at.
So what about having sex? I'm talking about sex. Let's be practical. Let's get all the philosophical out because everything you said was correct.
You don't trust no woman. You wear a condom.
Okay, I get all that. That's the negativity about the woman. But what can he do to keep from getting her pregnant?
Put on the condom. Don't trust no woman. Put on the condom. You don't even when you're married to a woman, you still should wear a condom, just in case. And make her sign a prenup. Get a prenup too. If you don't know, if you got a lot of money, make sure you sign a prenup before you get married.
I'll gladly sign a prenup.
pay for a prenup that's
hold up. But you asked me what I would tell him to do. So,
but I'm saying we're talking about all these brothers who do not have children, who do not have fathers in their house. So let's keep it on the average brother. Okay. Let's not start talking about Elijah or Ewan. Let's start talking about Kobe Bryant. They got attorneys for that. Okay, let's bring it down to the average brother. We're talking about a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 19-year-old, 22-year-old. He don't have no business yet. He don't have no business to protect yet.
Don't have sex.
But he has a penis that could obligate him for the next 18 years. Let's be practical.
Here's what you do.
Because if I have a daughter, I do have two 17-year-old daughters, and I have a brother. I know what I told my brothers. I told my brothers, my brother has blue eyes and blonde hair, and he was a target for every skank in any different direction you wanted to come at. He's 6'4". Yes, the brother was beautiful.
Was he going around fucking? Were women throwing their penis?
Oh, yes. Okay, oh, yes. So. Throwing.
Women talk now. Women talk. Women talk. So
my baby brother was throwing. So was my little brother that was 5'8", dark as my patent leather shoes, but had dreamy eyes. He worked it, but neither one of them ever got a woman pregnant because they listened to their big sister. So I don't understand. If I can tell my brothers that were screwing to the point of I can't ejaculate no more. I didn't use up all the sperm, but they knew at the end of the day, learn her body, learn how to pull out, learn your body. Don't be no fool.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, brothers. First of all, this is why me and M.O.T always tell y'all, focus on your career, focus on your work. Do not give these women no time. Just focus on yourself. Work. If you're busy working, you don't have time to fuck.
Everybody needs stress relief. No, I went to school with guys. I went to school with brothers in law school. I went to school with brothers in law school that were getting babies, getting bitches pregnant because they were trying to negotiate a free Happy Meal. Yo, my brothers. I was like, hold up. Why are you mad that she work at Wendy's? Why are you mad she work at a hamburger shop? I was with you when you were sitting up there trying to check at her so you can get free food.
Somebody said slide the morning after pill in her. Oh, that is so evil. It might work.
That is also illegal.
Oh, that's illegal. But yet it's like, so I say focus on working, but y'all want to say they're going to fuck. But it's like, so we're not going to teach men to have discipline to abstain from these women.
I didn't say that.
No, but you said they got to have stress relief. But I'm telling them realistically.
That's going to be the argument that they make. They're going to slip up. Men have sex.
But I just told them, don't trust nobody on your way to success. Success is a road that is walked by few. So you're going to abstain, protect your jewels, protect your resources. Do not trust this woman. Like she already fucked up with the Garden of Eve. She already going to fuck up with you. So do not wear a condom.
A man, and I'll say it like this. I've had men who have daughters. I had one man tell me, my daughter is never going to need to depend on a motherfucking man. And now he wondering why his daughter got 3 babies and asking him for help. I said, you raised her like that. You told her.
Unreal.
You told her. You did not make marriage seem like, wait for the one that you want to trust your life with.
Wait, hold on. But I told you to focus on working. If you focus on working, you don't have time to be fucking. Because by the time you get to where you want to and you already access your goal, you should have enough resources already accumulated. Listen, why do I need to fuck with you, woman? What do you got going on for yourself? What?
Some of the most successful men that I know. Grant Hill got married at, 23? After he was engaged to Jada Pinkett and she fucked another nigga on national TV.
Told y'all, don't trust these women. You know how Jada get down with Tupac.
But he married Tamira because she wanted to be a traditional stay-at-home mother for their kids. And she gave up her career as a very accomplished singer to raise their kids that are fluent in Mandarin. That she was the one who basically sat there at home while he went on the road. I've talked to his father. His father was like, look, my father, the grandfather of Grant Hill was illiterate. He could not read, but he taught his son and grandson when to leave her and when to run away from her. But Grant Hill never got Jada Pinkett pregnant, even as loose as her ass was. He didn't get her pregnant. You know, at the end of the day, he married a woman like his mother that was committed to the family. Unlike his mother, he wanted someone who put the kids in him first. His mother was a career woman. That's why she only had one child. She says that in her speeches. She said, me and my husband agreed that one child was all that we could handle. I could not do 2 kids and have a career. I wanted my career. So let's be honest. The average brother and sister are not sitting up here worrying about whether or not you're going to have a career. You're worrying about a job.
Wait, how do you know the average brother and sister are not thinking like that?
I said, because the average brother and sister are making a salary. They're not making a salary. They're making a wage. The average brother is not making over $20 an hour. Because the average American is not making over $20 an hour.
Damn. Well, I thought are we talking about lower class or middle class? So we're saying lower.
I'm saying the median income in the United States is $50,000. That means that half are above, half are below. Then we get into.
I have a question.
Yes.
This career woman, what did she do so that way she wouldn't have kids within her relationship with her husband? What did she do?
Birth control.
Work at a job that may require her to be there 14 to 16 hours a day.
No. I'm talking about sexually. So she wouldn't be able to have kids. What did she do?
I said, I have line sisters.
No. It was
I'm a Delta. No, you asked me, what did an average career woman do? Average career woman. That average career woman, if she's a school teacher even, which I still is one of the least stressful careers, but it is still a career. They work after they get home. They are doing lesson plans for 2 to 3 hours a night. They get home at 4 o'clock, which is better than the typical, excuse me, I'm letting the dogs out, which is, excuse me, dogs, you're going out. But if you have 2 people in the house, if you have a mother, get out. If you have a mother that is sitting up there working 60 hours a week, I'm in a profession where they will tell you right up front, you're going to work. You're going to be at work before the first partner gets here, and you're going to leave until after. I was at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I did not leave till 1 o'clock. So I married a man who was a doctor, who had the same ideology. There would be nights when I got off work, I came home, I slept. That's it. That when I started work, when I went into labor while I was picking a jury, the judge said, I need a note from your doctor for you to continue this. When I went to my doctor, I found out that I was in labor. I was in active labor, trying to sit up there and be a professional and not let the boys know that I was in labor. And I was 28 weeks. I nearly lost my twins because I was trying to be tough like the guys. But my male counterpart was at home with his wife, working from home so he could bond with the baby. I mean, come on.
This doesn't tell the story of what the working woman did to not have kids.
No, what is your question, though? You're saying, what is she doing? I said she's at work 14 hours a day. You're like, bitch, you at work 14 hours a day. Still spread your legs because I want to get a nut.
Nobody says that. That's
What
some
the hell
that's
did he
some sign
say
of
then?
ignorance on that.
I just said she worked 14 hours.
Let's talk to Irene. Irene, how you doing, dear? Welcome to BMT2 Unfiltered at Night. We are bringing up the topic: is child support the tool for destruction of the home? Irene, we know that you are a mommy, and also you have beautiful little shining twins. I like them a lot because they always match. And you are a stay-at-home mom. Is that correct, Irene? Irene, can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Irene, what would you tell young up-and-coming women? Because we understand we're having this displacement that, hey, women getting pregnant, child support. I got a question, and I don't mean to get personal. Have you ever had to deal with child support for your children?
I went years and years and years with people telling me to get child support, and I never got child support.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You're a good woman because you did not help your kids with child support. They love you.
Let me say,
I hate to say it like this. Men are cheering you.
Don't need a man. She did.
Well, no. Let me say though.
I didn't get child support either, Nichelle. Not every woman gets child support.
Yeah, no, every woman doesn't. But I think that it would. I think it would be wonderful if all fathers took care of their children like on their own.
Absolutely.
For me, whether my daughter's father was going to do that or not, I probably wouldn't have bothered. I didn't bother, right? I didn't bother going after him for it.
But why are you men laughing? I want to ask.
I'm laughing at
That's a woman laughing. But I'm laughing at Jay. I will say a lot.
The men are cheering. Why are the men cheering?
But this is what I think. This is what I think. I think that everybody is not. I was financially able to make an exception. I was financially able to make an exception, even though, in all honesty, I was entitled to a lot. I was entitled to spousal support, child support. I was entitled to stock in his companies. I was entitled to all of that. I didn't go for that because there wasn't a need. Now, what I will say is that if I needed help with the kids and he was not willing to help with the kids, from me talking to him, I probably would have gone to child support. But I think if you can work that out between the two of you, or if there's not a need there, and I think that's why a lot of men don't get child support is because they don't have the need, right? So a lot of times when men are fathers, because I know a man that raised, I know a man that raised his daughter and he never got child support from her mother, but he didn't have a need for that money. Do you know what I mean?
Right, and I would have to say it's the same over here as well. Like when we got divorced, I was entitled to spousal support and child support and stocks and stuff like that. And it wasn't a need for it.
I hear all of you talking. I have a friend. She is old enough to be my mother. She's actually my godmother. She brags on the fact that she never had child support for any of her 4 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4 daughters. Good for her. Each one of her daughters calls her a damn fool. You know why?
They're ratchet as fuck.
Because you know why? One of the fathers was actually one out of the 4 fathers was a responsible motherfucker. And he put money aside. So when his daughter came, he paid for her to go to college because he wanted to be a responsible man. And the mother would not accept child support because she was vindictive. She wanted to rub it in his face that she did it all on her own.
So that was a personal choice. It was a personal choice.
And he said,
how many fathers does this woman have? How many baby fathers does this woman have?
She got 4.
What?
She got 4 baby daddies. 4 baby daddies.
How irresponsible
and she married each and every one of them. No. She told her daughter.
Ever come up in her mind? Did a doctor ever say, hey?
Let me say it to you like this. She told the daughters. She said, I have been married. I have 4 kids by 4 different men, but I was always married when I had the baby, whether it was to the daddy or not. I don't understand you women that don't know how to marry a man before you have the baby.
Daddies. That sounds like Future's.
I have one child, and I was married when I got pregnant. Like I said, I was married before I got pregnant, and like I said, we worked it. Like I said, like Irene said, we were adults about the situation, and we worked it out amongst ourselves. That's just what it is. That was our situation. I mean, that doesn't apply for everybody. Like I said, I mean, I think it's just the mindset of the woman or the man that you lay down with and have a child with that you work it out. I mean, and right now, actually, he has custody of her. So, and we still work it out amongst ourselves. There's no need for child support. That's just us, though.
Well, I think that a lot of times men are very excited to not pay child support, but I think that you will pay child support if you're any kind of a man. You're going to contribute something to caring for your child. I think that there's a sect of women who just, and I know I'm this way, if he chose not to do anything, let's say, for our children, I would feel like that's something he would have to deal with as a human being, right? To just be that kind of man that wouldn't. And that's kind of where I always sat with it. So sometimes, because it's been a while, sometimes he would be very active in contributing. A lot of times he would want to invest in his businesses, things like that. And so I just personally never, I just didn't worry about it because I feel like that's something he has to work out with on his own. And then that's his reputation, right? So I know people who know that about our dynamic look down on him for that, actually. So I don't know why men get so excited and happy about not helping with their kids. I don't think that's something to be proud of, but I think that some women just choose to be the bigger person and allow that person to be a bad person or a good person if they choose to be a bad person or a good person. And that's personally the choice I made.
And I want to ask a question because I pride myself on being open-minded. I spoke to Nigerian lawyers. I have a good friend who's a Nigerian lawyer. The first time
he in Africa?
He is licensed in Nigeria, but he moved to the United States. He's licensed here. And he said he thought it was amazing that the American system allowed fathers to get away with it and only having to pay 20%.
Tell them I think it's amazing that they can take their women and wrap them up in tires and set them on fire. Tell them that I think their system
is actually illegal in Nigeria, but it is part of a medieval backwards, bride burning culture that Nigeria and India both share.
Bride burning.
Bride burning. Bride burning.
You Africans better not talk shit about our American culture, but I'm gonna keep calling y'all fuckers out about y'all shit.
But the bride burning is very limited. It is always been one of those things where the parents are more to blame than the woman. But getting back to what I was trying to say about responsibility to your children. At the end of the day,
why is it that a man can't take responsibility for his children without going through the court system? Because what it sounded like to me, what it sounded like to me, Michelle, is that you're saying that, basically a woman should just automatically go to court, even if the man even if the man is still taking care. Like I said, in my case, we worked it out amongst ourselves.
And I'm saying it like this. I have sat down, like I said, I've sat down with more men that were willing to take care of their kids, that actually wanted to protect their assets and interests, and they wanted what was in the best interest of the child. So at the end of the day, these men were sitting up there looking at what it took to take care of a child. It was not a, something, hey, I want a little nookie every now and then. Me and my baby mama cool. I go over there and hang out every now and then. Trust me, I just had a client who sat up there. The kids are grown now. So, his biggest regret was not about the child support. It was the fact that his baby mama wanted to marry another guy. So she decided that the whole him coming by whenever he wanted to was not a big deal. So she released him of any obligation to pay child support because she had a new man. The new man abused the child. The child is now 21 years old. He's trying to reconcile with her why he walked away when he was given the opportunity to say, hey, if you don't have to pay child support because I'm with a new guy, he's going to take care of your child. And he was like, hey, I didn't have to pay child support. He was so excited.
Sounds like a choice.
It sure does.
Sounds like a choice. It's a choice.
Did you not hear what I said? I'm with a grown man that's sitting up there saying that when his baby mama said, look, you have a choice. I'm getting married and we don't need your money. He was like, hey, yeah, I was all excited. I was like, walk away, no big deal.
You're right.
And then he found out after his child was grown that this man that was coming in to pay the bills, to relieve him of the responsibility. And I asked him, I said, how much child support were you paying? He said, $400. I said, how much money are you paying now for for help for your daughter to get her over the fact that she was abused from the age of 16 until she was able to get out of that house?
Now I got a question. Why is it now you talking about this man? First of all, I want to ask, what the fuck was the mother doing? Like, let's ask the question. For a woman to be in that home, I got a question. What kind of piece of shit, ungodly, filth like mother does not notice her daughter getting the shit beat out of her?
She wasn't being beat. She was being raped.
Wait. That's even better.
The mother was at work at night.
Right. So you wait. Pause. Woman chose this man now. Woman chose this man, not the daughter. Woman chose this man.
The woman was a nurse. Excuse me. The woman was a nurse.
Y'all tell me, y'all mothers do not go in y'all daughter's room and have any kind of heart-to-heart talk. No sweet 16. No kind of fucking talk with your daughter. Hey, do you know how to use a tampon? Do you want to go out shopping? Let's go try on clothes.
Joe, did you hear what I said? I said the father and the mother were at the hearing last month. I had to sit up there with the father when he said, you know, I wanted to throw her ass out the window when she came up to me and said, you know, I was working so much, I wasn't paying attention.
Sound like bad female parenting 101 to me. Like a lot
of man raped. The man raped his stepdaughter.
Well, guess what? That wasn't on the daddy's watch. That was not on the daddy's watch. That was on mama's watch.
Well, that was no. To be fair, that was both. That was the fault of both parents because the mother that was in the home should have been on top of that, but the father should have been seeing and interacting with his daughter and talking to his daughter too. Both of those parents failed that little girl.
And I'm saying this grown man that is now,
no matter what, I'll be on the cross with Jesus.
This is a grown. You're laughing about the situation. The man is sitting up there saying, at the end of the day, that is his daughter. He has to spend the rest of his life trying to build her back into a woman that trusts men. At the end of the day, he said, I'm going to teach her not to hate her stepfather because he still has 2 children with her mother.
The fuck?
Yes.
The fuck?
Yes.
You know, these guys want to talk about choices, but then you talk about taking away the woman's choice to decide if she wants birth control. Now, you guys are all over the place.
I must be on Krypton.
You want to blame the mother. And I'm saying that this is a man that is sitting up here going, okay, I have 2 broken children by a woman that I did not marry. I chose not to marry her. We did not get married. She went with a man that wanted to marry her. They have 2 children together. They were legally married. I was not going to interfere with another man's household. So I stepped back. I was relieved I did not have to pay child support. It was good. He said, I didn't worry about it.
Man of tomorrow. Why does it seem like no matter what, us as men, we just can't win? It just seems like we just can't win.
He won. He didn't have to pay child support.
Take a barrel of gasoline and set myself on fire by some luchador cartels. Why does it seem like, men, we just can't win?
No, it's just that this is why you put birth control in your hands. Because we know what their hands look like.
Thank you.
We hear what their hands look like. And you need to expose men to what their hands look like.
That's paranoid.
Yes, thank you.
It's just that I don't have this problem because, with being a cop, I've seen a thousand different ways this thing can cut the wrong way. Make sure that I'm going to be straight because I know when it comes to birth control, women are going to give themselves the option over something that gives them the most power in the situation, and then they double back and act like they're not giving themselves those type of options. I mean, I think they're being so slick, but I know personally that they're not being slick. They're being very deliberate in what they're doing.
Okay, so we can get to the point of the question was, is child support destroying the family? I hear women on here, excuse me. I hear women on here saying, you know something, I told him he didn't have to pay child support, but we still don't have a family. I don't want this man. I don't want this man. And if he don't want to be on child support, if he help out, fine. I'm still going to raise my kid. Did you men just hear that?
Mandated birth control unless you're married. You're married, you can come off birth control. What's wrong with that system?
Okay, we said that.
You can't tell somebody to take birth control, but for the record, males, they have birth control for men now, and if you don't want children at all, it is a very simple procedure on men to have to be sterilized.
Only gay men
so I think again, you can sterilize yourself.
I know a man that had a vasectomy and he had no children because he didn't want to take that chance.
You know what? Honestly, that sounds like the best thing we just need to do. Men, just get y'all vasectomies. Just say fuck it. Just freeze your sperm and just take yourself away. Like
go with transgender women. Go with transgender women, Joe.
Go straight to transgender women.
Transgender women. You get a hole to put it in, and you get titties to play with and hair to play with.
I tell you right now,
mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that I see more women going lesbian than dudes going gay, and they be having like 4 or 5 kids, and they be gay. And like, I'm like, when did you find out you was gay? Like after like what baby? Like what baby? What baby were you gay after? Like we see more women say I'm gay because they can't find a good man, and they go into the same type of abusive, volatile relationship. Like we're not going to make it seem like. Again, first of all, I'm not going to tell my daughter after she done been raped by some nigga that, oh wait, I'm going to help you forgive him with the love of Christ. I'm going to go get a shotgun and blow his fucking brain out. I'm not trying to.
Like that's why he's not about crap. That's why we know her father is not about crap because he says that.
You're right. He's a fucking piece of shit simp.
No, he's not.
Married some sorry ass woman, and he's all like, "Oh, I'm going to help you forgive your rapist, and we'll get over it." What kind of bullshit?
The man is in jail. It's the law. I'm sorry. The law is that once this man gets out of jail, he is going to have access to his children. His other 2 children that are her brother and sister. So she can grow up psychologically damning the father of her brothers and sisters. Right. Or she can learn to look at her brothers and sisters without seeing this demon that terrorized her.
I would say y'all father ain't shit. Y'all, my brother says y'all ain't shit. Fuck y'all. I don't like y'all. I don't like none of y'all. I would have just listen. I would be that type of sibling. Like I don't like none of you motherfuckers. I hate y'all. I hate my mama too. I'm changing my name. I'm gonna join the cult, and I'm just don't want to deal with y'all motherfuckers.
But Joe, you still haven't described how child support is destroying the American family.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you how child support is destroying the American family. I'm gonna tell you right now. I have seen mothers literally tell their daughters get pregnant by a man, and once you do your 5 to 6 years, like Janet, let's just look at Janet.
Here we go. Looking at people, not regular people. And they signed a contract. He was down for that shit to begin with. So Janet, that wasn't even here nor there.
Plaintiff victim.
Janet Jackson, she was down for it. But anyway, go ahead.
Let's look at it like this. I just said Janet, but we got to look on the lateral sense that we know some women that not only have a good dude, but they would choose a piece of shit motherfucker and knowingly leave that motherfucker.
That have to do with child
No. That has something to do with child support. You keep asking, you keep moving the goalpost. That's the problem with some of y'all women. Every time you ask the question, y'all keep moving the goalpost. Like, oh wait, yeah, even though he was a Satanist,
right here. How did
ain't no damn goalpost, but every time the goalpost comes, y'all keep changing it. Like, no, fuck that. Y'all say wear a condom. Man wears a condom. The woman asks, why you gotta wear a condom in the bed? Why don't you trust me? I don't know.
One more time.
I've never not once in my life had that fucking conversation.
I know you don't. Listen, we know you don't. But
I don't rap like that.
If you see your man having to wear a condom, that's a sign. Like, he's like, I don't trust your bitch ass. Like, fuck, I look like trusting you. Like, here's the thing. You gotta, sometimes, this is why I try to tell men, you gotta vet this woman very, me and Irene did talk. You gotta vet this woman very carefully. I wouldn't give her no fucking kid after 4 fucking years. I just wouldn't. I would see.
I agree with that.
After 4 years, if you ain't got no fucking income going for you, if you ain't doing shit, kick that motherfucking bitch out the damn door. Like, bye.
Okay, I agree with everything you're saying.
You don't get a damn dime.
But you know what, Joe? That goes for both sexes. That goes for women as well. Women shouldn't be getting impregnated by. Women shouldn't be getting impregnated by your type.
Good. Good.
Okay,
I'm just saying it goes.
The black society might.
Well, in Joe's defense, he's a family man, y'all.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's talking an awful lot of shit.
He would be the one to have a child with.
I've been there, and I listen. I'm there with my kids. Guess what? That's the thing about it. Y'all listen here. I'm trying to tell y'all about this. Listen, learn from me. Learn from John Connor. Damn it. Learn from John Connor.
Jesus.
If y'all motherfucking men want to make it, y'all better focus on y'all damn career. Y'all better vet this woman like it's fucking the Bachelorette. Y'all better know everything about her, to when she pees, to when she farts, to goddamn how much is in her damn bank account. If you
have apps for your period. They have apps to track your period. So men can download these apps.
So why did y'all make it a big deal when doggone Man of Tomorrow, a successful man, said, listen, we're going to take you to the gynecologist. I went with mine to the gynecologist. Y'all better make sure that goddamn IED, goddamn seeker missile goes inside that vagina until the time you're ready to have a baby. If not,
the hell! Look at first of all, no man is gonna march me. No man is gonna march me down to any place to get anybody's drugs and hormones from animals put into my body. I feel like if a man doesn't want children, then he should take care of that situation because it's easier for him to do it. There's no need for me to be messing up my biology and putting hormones in my body because somebody doesn't want a child.
I mean, you're being selfish.
No, I'm being realistic. And also, I feel like these are conversations you should have ahead of time, right? Because
that's what we've been saying.
That's what we said at the beginning of the show.
Hold on. But y'all be saying, you just need to wear a condom.
Excuse me. There's a thing called a diaphragm. That let me educate the man of tomorrow. There's a thing called a diaphragm that does not require. You can take the woman down who does not want to put chemicals in her body.
What's this diaphragm?
You can get fitted for a diaphragm.
What's a diaphragm?
You can pay for that, but that means planned sex. That you're obviously in a committed relationship because guess what? The diaphragm does not prevent against sexually transmitted diseases. That if she sleeps with Joe Blow, Joe Blow
for that person.
Excuse me. Joe Blow's sperm will still be in that diaphragm when you dive into that diaphragm. And if you're not in a committed relationship, you will get whatever disease Joe Blow's sperm has left inside of her vagina because it's been trapped by the diaphragm.
How many of y'all women, just asking, have gone straight to the clinic? I just had sex. Let me go to the clinic.
Why would we? I've never slept with a man that I needed to run to the clinic after I had sex with.
Well, hold on. You don't know what that man got. You don't know what he got. You don't know if he has herpes. You don't know. You don't know.
Why don't you guys ask yourselves that?
Yeah.
I go to the VA.
Condoms, ask them. So
it don't matter if you wear a condom.
Easy to point the finger, but it sounds like a bunch of judges on.
That's not. All I ask is how many of y'all after sex. That is a legit question.
How many people can get a doctor's appointment right after sex, Joe?
Go straight to the goddamn ER at 12 o'clock at night and get your blood tested and get your doggone swab. They will do it and send it to a clinic. I just answered your question. That only took you 45 minutes.
You cannot get an ER visit. You know how much your bill would be?
Up. You can't go to ER and get a doggone test? Man, y'all must not know. 2018, the world has changed. Like,
no, I do know. 2018, if you go to the ER talking about it's not an emergency, you're going to be waiting in that ER for 6 hours and your insurance company is not going to pay that bill. Unless you say you are raped. I was raped and I had to go to the ER. And yes, I have gone to the ER because I was raped.
You don't got to say that. All you got to say is this. Let me tell y'all what I told most guys. Let me tell y'all, but I'm going to break some myths for y'all. If you go to the ER and say, hey, I think I have caught something, you can just tell them that. You can literally just tell them, I think I got something. If you tell them that, they will say, do you know what you got? No, I do not know. They will take you in the back. They will give you a cocktail shot after they test you. And they say, do you want your blood tested? You can say yes. You can do this.
Who's going to pay for that, Joe? Who is going to pay for that?
So now we worrying about paying for our health now, but not.
Can I just ask?
I got every excuse.
Can I just ask? What kind of weird sexual promiscuity are people doing where you have sex with a person and you have sex with a person and you have to run and go to get checked to see if you have a disease? If that's the person you're sleeping with, then you're making some bad choices in your life. Exactly. Like I have to say.
How many of y'all ask y'all mate, hey, how many of y'all ever asked y'all mate, hey, let's go to the clinic and go get checked?
I have gone to I've set up an appointment. I dated an African that you did not like. We went to the doctor. He already had a vasectomy. We went and both got cleared before we had sex. It took us over 2 months to decide after we got all the results back that we were sexually compatible, health-wise.
Right. Now let's go to the logical. Let's go to the logical people from high school, college, and all that other stuff. How many of the people are asking? They're asking the people other than you that hey, let's go to the clinic. Why? You don't trust me? I ain't good. How many people after they kiss somebody do they know what they got on their lips? How many of y'all girls? How many of y'all shared y'all makeup? Do y'all know what kind of STIs or STDs the other girl was carrying? When y'all passed the blunt, when y'all shared a drink. See, that's the thing about it. Y'all don't know. It don't always have to be through the sexual. But see, I'm glad I'm here. Dr. Joe is here to help remind y'all. You don't know. It don't have to just be through the sexual. So guess what? Unless y'all can tell me when the last time y'all been to the doctor to get checked.
What sexual disease can you get from a drink?
Herpes.
Oh, hell yeah, you can get
your mouth. Herpes. That's simply
no.
You can get syphilis. You can get syphilis if it's in the late stages. You can get syphilis from like shaking hands with people because you can get it from the hands too, from people's hands and feet if they're in the later stages. You absolutely can.
Yes, you can.
But they're going to be symptomatic when it gets to that point. They're going to be symptomatic. They are going to be symptomatic.
Yeah, they're going to have a big hole in there wherever the entry point was. That's true, but they'll also have that rash on their hands and feet, and you can catch it from that.
Herpes. Do not drink after someone. Do not drink after someone who has a big herpes sore on their mouth. Don't drink after people. You don't drink after anybody. Period.
So I got a question. Let's say somebody did do that and they got it, but you don't see the stages and they pass it on to you. Y'all don't see. That's the thing about it. Y'all, in the perfect world, I guess when butterflies fart gold, we can.
Okay, see. That means it goes back to slow your roll. When you meet someone, don't expect to kiss on the first date. Don't expect sex until after planning. Get to know the person, talk to the person.
No fucking goddamn leeway on shit. Listen,
I mean, I'm not mad at anybody for saying that. If the guy does not, if you two cannot sit down and talk and say, hey, let's go donate blood and make sure that we don't have HIV.
Donate blood?
Yeah, they'll do a blood test.
Yeah.
Cheap, inexpensive way to find out if someone has HIV.
But we can't say, let's go to the ER at night and say, hey, we think we caught something and we can't go get cocktail shots.
Why can't you just go have a regular
Who is going to pay for it, Joe?
Well, guess what?
Both of y'all
don't have insurance. You already
a desire to have sex is not an emergency. Like you can wait for the regular test. You can just be abstinent until you get your regular testing, right?
No, what I'm asking you, you want to go 50-50. If a woman says, if I have sex with you tomorrow, we're going to go to the ER. Is he going to pay for? He's going to say, yeah, I'm going to pay for that.
I'm like, why don't you have insurance? I'm be like asking her that. Why don't you have insurance?
Why don't you just make a regular appointment and wait to have sex till you get the results?
You know,
I will say this though: if somebody doesn't want to be tested,
that is not deemed by the insurance company to be an emergency. My daughter had pneumonia. They said pneumonia was not an emergency visit.
Well, your hospital sucks.
Well, I'll say this. If you are looking to have sex with somebody and you ask them to get tested with you and they're not willing to be tested or they're offended, you probably don't want to have sex with that person because they don't value their own life.
Irene. You need to look past it. You're being vain right now.
No, you don't need to look past that. That's nasty. That tells you that if they don't care with you and they think you shouldn't care with them, they don't care with anybody. And they might have something.
So again, how does that have to do with child support destroying the family?
Because that's what somebody burns you. You want to get that damn child support. You better listen. Let me tell you how it works in the military. If a soldier has contacted STDs and they give it to their spouse, the military advocate will ask the spouse, listen, did you have it? No, I did not. They will ask the M.O.T knows this. They will do an investigation. She now has liable proof if she wants to leave the marriage. Because what is that M.O.T? That is adultery.
Punishable by a lot.
By a lot. That means he loses the home. I'm telling you how military justice works. He loses the home.
Yes.
He loses his finance.
He was busted down from a sergeant to a buck private because he could not keep his dick in his pants.
Well, guess what?
And he busted him down to a buck sergeant, but his wife had nothing to do with that.
Now
it wasn't her fault.
Now let's go over.
Did not force him to go have sex with other women.
I'm gonna go over to the woman. I already know. We had a sergeant, and let's say she was pretty busy with fucking a lot of her privates, a lot of them. Her husband found out. Guess what? She brought up to the commander that, guess what? Where am I going to go? This is all I know. This is all I've been part of. They felt sympathy on the woman. Guess what? Guess who had to leave the home? The man.
In all cases.
In all cases. If that woman only knows that way of life, she keeps everything. Everything. That is something that is the law of the land now.
Can I join the show?
Huh?
Can I join the show?
You want to join the show? Go ahead and get it joined on the show.
Oh my God. We're going to be outnumbered.
We're going to be outnumbered. Yes, we will, probably. I don't know. I'm just drinking and trying to get through. What time is it right now? Shit. All these damn women are coming. Irene's supposed to be on our side. Nicole's supposed to be on our side. Now they talk about we can't make y'all take birth control. I don't understand you women anymore.
Our choices.
What don't you understand? What
is Man of Tomorrow saying? Can I hear what Man of Tomorrow is saying? What are you saying?
I say that it's mandated. She has to be on birth control.
That's so stupid.
And she gets tested every 2 weeks to test her progesterone levels in the system to make sure that things are going right. Because this is how I don't get caught up in these things. As bad as it may sound, okay, this is what I do to ensure that it never happens. She's on birth control. I wear a condom. I do the rhythm method, and I pull out. And I disposed of the condom myself. Personal safe, medical device, right by the bed. Okay? I don't have these problems. But that's how far I go to make sure that I don't go through these things. Okay, tell me you're disdain for my system and process.
I don't have a problem with your individual system.
I like your system, M.O.T.
All I'm saying is
everything about this woman before she could do anything. That was perfect.
You are sitting up there protecting yourself because you're protecting your seed. You should encourage other men to do just that until you find the woman that you want to raise a family with and have a child with.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him for doing that. I'm saying that it takes a man to sit up and say, these are my conditions for you to be the mother of my child. I value my sperm, I value my seed, but I still do not see how that is destroying the American family.
Let me tell you why child support is destroying the American family. And I say this again because the weapon has been this when it comes to authority, where they only have limited time and access with the child. It also gives the woman power where she can easily implement and say, hey, he's not doing his duties. This is why a lot of men, you need to get receipts. Whenever you pay child support, get receipts. Do not give her any money. Do not pay for, never give her money. I don't give a fuck if her house is on fire and she said, can I get that cash? No. Get me write the checkbook. I don't give you no damn money. Because guess what?
I don't agree with that. That's still not.
I don't care if you disagree or not, but I've seen too many men.
I'm saying that as a practical matter, that if you are a man and you have a child, if it is child support, document the child support.
Okay.
Document it. I
do apologize. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Go ahead and
let me get back to why child support is destroying the family home. Because too many times, if the man is removed from power, guess what? This woman and the system are involved. Now, mind you, the system has been known to fuck up kids. This is why now you're seeing parents are trying to get school choice. Because guess what? Society and the system have been implementing and putting on systems into the home that go against the parental guidance of a man and how he would raise his home. And because that is happening, a lot of men say it is better I just stay out of it. And because when I do fight for the child, I lose more. Until lately, men have been losing battle after battle after battle, where they've lost their business, they lost their assets, they lost the home. Hell, they married a woman and she has kids and they've been taking care of the kids for a few years. Guess what? Oh, wait, it doesn't work out with me and that woman. Oh, no, you still have to take care of that child. Wait, that's not my kid. Doesn't matter. You introduced him into a lifestyle, but that's not my kid. See, you're saying now this kid has access to something that him and his mother had never worked for. I worked for. See, a man, the one thing that you can do, the one harm thing I'm gonna tell you, this is why I tell a lot of you men. This is no slight against some of you women who have children. This is why a lot of older men are telling a lot of younger men, do not hook up with a woman with kids. Do not. Y'all wonder why we're telling men that don't have kids not to talk to women with kids, because you will now be held liable and responsible. M.O.T, are we lying about this?
What state requires a stepfather?
Doesn't matter the state.
Yes,
because
it does.
No, it does. Yes.
What state? No,
let me tell you how this works. If that child gets hurt in your home, both adults are held liable by child services. It doesn't matter the state. It's just the law, because you are the two adults. Man has gun in home. Guess what? Never had to lock it because he's the only man there. Girl comes over there with her kid. Kid finds gun, gets shot. Guess who's in trouble? The man. Why did you have your gun locked up?
That goes for grandmothers too, Joe.
But never that. We're not talking about grandma. We're talking about men. I didn't add grandma.
I'm talking about the law in itself.
Okay, but guess what? But we're talking. I'm just giving you response. I'm just giving you the equation.
Saying that if a woman goes over to a man's house and she don't know he has a gun and she brings the child, guess what? She can lose custody too. It is across the board. Put your gun up. Even as soon as the kid comes. It does not matter.
I mean, that's just anybody, right? If anybody, it doesn't even have to be a child. If anybody comes to your home and you're a gun owner and they're harmed, it could come back on you. That's just responsible gun ownership. This is not unique to children or people with kids, or it could be your niece, it could be your nephew, it could be anything. Just be responsible with your weapon. Like, it's real simple. We don't have to turn everything into, like, we don't have to turn everything into part of this faux gender war. I will just say this. I don't think if a man is a good man and he's helping to raise his child that you should drag him through the ringer simply because you're pissed off your relationship is over. But I will say that for those deadbeat dads, and there are many of them who aren't taking care of their kids, if women need that support, they should be able to try to go get help with that support. Or if men who are fathers, because I know men who raise their kids too need support, they should be able to go get that support. That shouldn't happen in a case where a man does things. If he doesn't choose to give you money, but he'll write a check for daycare, he'll write a check for certain needs that covers the expense, that's fine as well if you guys work that out. But what I find to be very disgusting is to equate the loss of funds versus the loss of your own child as something that is equal. Nobody should be so afraid of losing money that they give up a whole person. And so I think the problem a lot of men will have with child support is that it gets into their pockets. And I think that that should not be a consideration when you're talking about your own seed. If you're paying $300 a month for child support or something like that, it is what it is. $300 doesn't take care of a child. Like, my daughters did ballet lessons for $300 a month, and it had no roof over their head or food or anything else. Clothing was considered at that point. So I think at the end of the day, just everybody, men and women, take care of your little ones and do the best you can to get on with the person that you reproduced with. And if you don't want to have a child with somebody, don't have sex with them, because you always run the risk. And nobody should have to live in a Fort Knox facility to avoid getting somebody pregnant. Simply don't sleep with people who aren't worthy of bearing your children. It's just that simple, in my personal, humble opinion.
You always give good advice. Thank you for your serenity, perfect little flower.
Yes, Joe, what I'm saying is, I hear your point, but I'm saying that the idea of child support for men and for women across the board, I mean, if you look at my post, you'll see that men who have taken custody of their kids, they know good and daggone well. It wasn't about getting custody of their kids because they didn't want to pay child support. They got custody of their kids because they wanted what was in the best interest of their kid. And I have one good friend that said, you know something, I brought this kid in to my home with my wife, and my wife had to give up her job because these kids needed so much attention. And I wanted her home. I wanted her home when my kids got out of school, because I didn't want a stranger. I did not want a stranger taking care of my kids. I trusted my wife. She was a good stepmother. Sometimes you have to understand, it's not about the money. He was willing to tell his wife, who was working, it's like, hey, baby, go give up your job where you're bringing us $3,000 a month, because I'd rather you be home, be here home when the kids come home and supervising them. So that was what was important to him. He got the kids away from the biological mother, not because he didn't want to pay child support. It's because she herself, even if he paid the maximum amount of child support, that was not enough to put the kid in a lifestyle that he wanted to raise his child in. So let's sit down and say, let's be honest. All these men, what is the solution? Okay, what is your solution? If you believe child support is destroying the family, we got kids here now. The condom, wearing the condoms didn't work. So if she does not put you on child support, is that going to save your family?
Nope, my family still fucked. Like I said.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now,
it's not destroying the family.
No. Listen, y'all better, if you want to, contact me on bmtblackbrothergmail.com. Me and M.O.T will give you consultation on how to get your life back on track. That's all. That's the best I can tell y'all. Come to the Black men's congregation. We will have to save y'all. It's the best thing we're telling y'all. Don't have sex. Abstain yourself. Get your LLC. Get your company. Just focus on yourself. Listen to what me and Irene did a talk on how to vet a mate. Me and M.O.T. do talks on brothers how to build up your resources to keep y'all out of trouble. Please, if you want to talk, contact me. I can do a personal consultation with you, brothers. I have been through it. I have helped men win their cases countless times. I'm tired of seeing us get railroaded. I have even talked with women about how to help get their children back. Now, I'm just letting y'all know, child support will destroy you. Here's the funny thing about child support. When you get in that courthouse, it's not about telling who's the prettiest parent. It's about making the other parent who's the most fucked up parent that the child least has to go with. I've seen it time and time again. The good guy who says, hey, I'm a good guy that takes my kid to daycare and ballet and gymnastics and I take them to church. Then the other one says, guess what? He watches porn, he jacks off, and he drinks beer every Sunday and Saturday night. She gets
They won't even listen to that. That's so stupid.
You want to bet? You want to bet?
Muted. Oh, I thought I was muted.
No.
They won't listen to that anyways because the judge would just say it's not relevant. Now, I'm not sure what Mickey Mouse courthouse you guys go to, but I've been through that. I've seen that process, and I know that the judge actually you have to speak to a mediator nowadays first, and then you see the judge. So I'm not sure like where you guys grew up. But
first of all, hold on.
To see a mediator.
Both it's mediator. Yeah, you're correct. Both parents have to agree to go to the mediator. If they say that, if you decline that,
the judge can order it because
in California you don't have to. You have to go see the mediator unless there's been some sort of abuse, and even then they just keep you in separate rooms.
But they make you see a mediator anyways.
Exactly. But in Georgia, in other Bible states, see, we come from Bible states here.
But you guys aren't Bible people, so let's not use that theory. Go ahead.
We didn't say nothing about Bible. We didn't say nothing about the Bible. Well, we come from
Bible. You can't pick and choose the Bible.
You can request a mediator.
You can request a mediator. If you request, say like, okay, let me tell you what I'm going off of because I've already won 6 cases. Like I said, I don't even have a degree. I just, win cases and drink beer. If she says she don't want to go to the mediator, which sometimes if they say they want to go to the mediator, I always let the women know, listen, you are now taking it out of the hand of you and that man. You literally can sit down and work out a deal between you two that you will have to honor. Now, if you want to put it before the judge is going to weigh the scale of who is the least fucked up parent. And when it comes about that time, lawyers don't play fair. Lawyers will try to sling mud to make the next person look like the least credible parent. They're not trying to make
2% of the cases actually go to trial. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
less than 2% of the cases go.
If they do, no, we are going there. Understand? I said before in M.O.T. Did I not say, men go to court? Did I not say that? Did we not say that right in the first beginning of the show? Go to court. We tell you, men, go to court.
The first hearing is a temporary order.
Listen.
You bring your pay stubs. You bring both sides. Both sides bring their pay stubs and their last 2 years of tax returns. The person that has the child brings their utility receipts. They bring the daycare receipts. They bring the dadgum where they're living. That you can request.
They're not living with mama or somebody. They already are. They already know you're screwed.
Okay. If you were sleeping with a woman that was living with her mama, you knew that when you were sleeping with her.
Hold on. You just not too long ago bringing up about brothers who have you bringing up households who have less than 40 make 40,000. Then you also bring up the people who make bad choices. So now you're saying the people who possibly live with their parents but are fucking, now they're not good. Now we cannot.
No, I didn't say that. I said you knew. You should have known before you engaged in sex where they were living.
Should have.
You said you should know everything about the woman, so I guess that you would know.
Again, this is why I tried to tell a lot of you men, pull an M.O.T. and you vet the hell out of this woman. And
you vet. Sure both parties should vet, men and women. The advice that you say is unisex.
I'm should not have get sex. Her credit report. Get the credit report.
Okay, that's fine too.
Most black men are at the bottom. Why do you want to do that? Expose yourself.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's all this boohoo the brother. But at the end of the day, if you believe the statistics, and you find a black man under the age of 25, why would you want to have him as the father of your child? Because he's going to get killed by somebody anyway.
Damn, it's like y'all just black women don't got it good for us anymore.
That is the statistics.
If you believe the statistics, that
I'll tell you
that they're going to be in jail, they're going to be dead.
If that's the case, then we better go with the statistics. Don't get a black woman.
Joe.
Don't get a black woman.
Oh, that's interesting. If I say don't get a black guy, you get
if that is the statistics we pulling, then y'all better stay away from.
But Joe,
the negative
get a white on
the black woman.
But that has nothing to do with the black woman. That has to do with the system.
Whoa.
We're not the ones killing you guys. That's
who
the
has filed more child support cases on a black man? A white girl.
Do you know that not the black woman? She's the least likely to ask for child support. Look it up.
Thank you.
Look it up per capita. She's the least likely to ask.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Where is this at?
Oh,
you know what? If you did your homework, you would have known that because you guys just want to shame black women and you're talking about go off the race.
M.O.T, have you heard this?
Okay, I will pull that up for you and send it to you. I actually have the stats already.
Send that to me. Send that to me right now. That black women are least likely to send a man to child.
Yeah, the statistics on the number of black women that are on welfare, the statistics say that although we represent 13% of the population, we represent 50% of those on welfare. The number of women overall on welfare is less than 1/3 of all women in the United States.
My head hurts.
So when we start playing these statistical games, the real life numbers, that less than 1/3 of black women are living below poverty. So we are by our numbers, we may be overrepresented in the number of people in poverty. But at the end of the day, part of that is because they're not getting child support from the men that would raise, they're not even getting the $600 a month from men.
Actually, there's another reason why the black woman is in poverty. It's because the black woman marries and doesn't get raised up financially like other races because the black man is not able to do that while they're talking about their resources.
I'm done.
I don't know why that makes sense. Just because
I'm done.
At least let me send you the stats.
You can send me the stats. I'll read it. I'm done.
You can
I'm gonna
read
go
it,
drink. I'm gonna go drink some beer. I'm gonna go sit with my friends tonight, and we're gonna just sit down. I'm done talking.
Sit up there and said, okay, child support, $600 a month is too much. It's breaking the black man. Why would $600 a month in child support be the reason why black men do? I'd rather. I'm so afraid of having to pay $600 a month. I'm not marrying this woman.
I'm so.
You know what? Let me say this though, on a side note, before I send the stats, I'll tell you about my experience with child support. So, I didn't take child support, and it's not because I was. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm echoing. Yeah. It's not because I was in a financially set situation. I actually didn't have anything, and I turned it down because the guy was my friend, and I honored the friendship over the money, and it's like. When it comes to family, my personal belief is leave the government out of it and deal with it yourself. Now, that guy and I became the best of friends. He didn't contribute to his child, but I would rather, and he passed away early, but we had the best friendship, and I became financially successful because I had to carry the weight. That was my choice. Maybe I was dumb, but at the end of the day, I felt good about that decision. I know that's not every situation, but the guys that's trying to make the black women out to be like their enemy, it's just weird because the good black women still get talked about. I still got dogged out, and I didn't take child support or welfare or anything. So I still complain either way because I turned it down and was homeless. I ended up building a business and pulled myself up. But still guys like these guys on the panel, they still criticize women like me, and then they want to talk about my sexual background. Well, sorry. Either way, they won't be happy because a black woman is not the black man's enemy. They're buying the lie of the media. And it's really sad that they're repeating the propaganda. The black woman stands by the black man for the most part.
Right. The only thing I keep asking, Joe, the reason I ask, a very simple question. Black men are saying that women are not staying in the families because they would prefer to get child support. And I'm sitting up here saying, okay, men, child support, most of the median income in the United States is $48,000. The average brother is making less than $48,000 a year. So that would mean his average in child support contribution would be around $600 a month. The average daycare is $600 a month. Women are leaving marriages knowing full well that the amount of child support that they're going to get is just going to cover the daycare so that they can work. So how is daycare? You can argue that if a woman did not get child support, she would not be as easily able to herself and the child. But is that the real issue? Is that the real issue that's destroying the family? Turn the light back on, please. I'm on the phone. Turn the light on. That's true. I mean, I'm breaking numbers down. You guys are talking abstract, philosophical. Let me bring in the multimillionaires. I'm saying actual numbers that at the end of the day, Black women are not lining up for child support. Typically, Black women would rather not get the government involved. Black men don't want the man involved. If the man ain't involved, then they ain't really paying the amount that is necessary to really support the child. The woman is handling the house, and they're doing a good job. I commend you. You're listening to these women tell you, no, I did not put them on paper. I not filed. I could have gotten more money if I had gone through the system, but I still raised my child by myself. But that just basically means the man was not voluntarily contributing half of the cost of taking care of his child. Why not?
You just brought up, but that's another thing too that I was thinking, because my friends also turned down child support. My Black friends, the white one did not, but she had more to gain. But this is what I was gonna say. When I found out the system was going to still charge my baby's father, I turned it around so that way he could sue the system. I got everything together because I never took a check for. At first I didn't know anything about the system, and I thought that wow, free money meant free. Once I found out that it was not, I never cast any check. I never did anything, and they were still charging this guy. So that's why I said I don't agree with child support, because they were still asking for him to have send money, and he was going to lose his license. He ended up getting a settlement from the state because I said they cannot charge you, and I did all that stuff for him. We became the best of friends, and maybe I should not have done all that. But at the end of the day, the system was corrupt itself. So at least I got a dig at the system. At least that was exposed as far as that county goes, and they had to redo a lot of things that they did because they were still. It was, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, they can't do that, but they were still gonna try to send this guy to jail. So I even helped this guy. So this evil Black woman thing that they're trying to say, and oh, guys need to stay away. Please do, if you mean her no good, because even the good ones you guys are lumping all together like this woe is me story, instead of saying to be responsible for yourselves. Don't go try to shame other people, because there are good women out there, but if you attract all bad ones, there's something inside of you that's doing it. And I don't regret my decision at all.
I commend you, and I'm going to say like this.
I just want to let y'all know.
Overcharged by the system. There are men that have been overcharged by the system. And when
I don't agree with the system.
Jail free card, that's what I advertise as the get out of the jail free card. If you have a child and you've not had a DNA test, no matter. And I had a man come in my office and he cried because the child that was named after him turned out not to be his child. And I asked him, I said, Why didn't you ever get a DNA test? He said, I just assumed that she was so head over heels with me that she didn't want another brother. I said, were you monogamous to her? He said, hell no. I said, so while you were out getting your freak on, it never dawned on you she was getting her freak on? So this child who is named after him is not his biological child. So he said, tell her I will adopt him. She said, fuck you. I had a man crying in my office because the 12-year-old child that was named after him, he was no longer required to pay child support, but she needed to go after whoever it was that was the baby daddy. And she was so
big. What county was that? What county?
Dallas County, Texas.
Here, it's kind of interesting that you said that. What I was wondering, this is why I was trying to sue the state here, but this case, anyways, my point. So, because here, even if you're found out like to not be the father, the guy still has to pay. They don't take him off of the system because he already has he's already involved with the child. So that's what I would like to see changed here. But if you start paying child support in California, you're stuck on it. They don't take it away. Just you need a really good lawyer.
California is a little weird, but California has a punitive father statute. The punitive father statute, and it started because of the celebrities. It really and truly started because a woman cheated on her husband, and her husband forgave her, and he wanted to raise the child as his own. And they said, from now on, if you are the punitive father, that the child's interest in claiming you as the father may overshadow the child being bastardized. So unless another man is going to come forward and say, this is my child, you are on that birth certificate because you have 2 years, basically, to contest whether or not that is your child if you are not married. If you are married, you can get, if you are married, upon divorce, we had one client that had 5 kids. None of them were his. None, not a one. And no, you cannot get that money back. I'm sorry.
No, not here.
The fraud statutes only go back so far. It's a horrible thing, but I have had fathers who are like, I don't care if that's not my biological child. I want to still be involved in that child's life. And the mother said no.
Well, so I'm going to say right now, you guys, we thank y'all. I guess y'all women have argued your point. Us men, we just said, fuck it. The hell with it. I'm going to go drink. I just quit. I just given up on. I'm telling y'all, men, don't argue on child support. Just fight in the court. This is BMT2. Women have this debate.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm mentally burned. Good night. Good night.